She was very formal, wasn't she?
She was. Welcome to El Profe's Classroom. Class is in session. And for tonight, we have a very, very, very special guest. Um, we recorded with the other part of this dynamic duo of podcasting, movie podcasting, from the Movie Mixtape Podcast, one of my favorite podcasts personally. Um, we have Dirk here with us today. Dirk, how you doing?
I'm doing all right, Lars. Thank you very much for having me on. Me and Marcy are the Laurel and Hardy of movie dynamic duo podcasting. Thanks for having me on, mate. How are you
Yeah, I
doing?
mean, I'm doing good. I'm actually very happy to have you here. This is like it's been we've been talking about doing this for a bit, and it's finally happens. You know, schedules have been for me as well. It's been difficult, but you know, we it's always cool to find the space to to talk to people and share music. In this case, you usually you share movies in the podcast, but you also share music at some point.
Hmm.
um, so that was why I wanted to have you guys here, Marcy and you, because whenever you did them talk about a movie on the Instagram, you picked a song that sort of felt like part of that movie, or that it reminded you of the movie. And
Yeah,
I always thought that was very interesting, an interesting concept. um and when I heard the songs that you guys picked, I was like, I have no idea what they're talking about. so so that brought me to the whole thing of, yeah, uh they are definitely people who have interesting music to share. So that's the reason, one of the reasons, I
oh,
wanted
bless you.
you guys to be here.
Hmm.
Uh,
Thank you. I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess one thing that I think both me and Marcy truly do believe is that there is something, is an act of a joyful act, and joy as an act of resistance, really, against everything else going on around us. If you can share something that you love with someone else, someone who's important to you. So me and Marcy, developing our friendship, but that was one of the driving forces behind wanting to do the podcast, sharing with each other things we love, like movies, like you said, but also music. And that's really, I mean, gosh, it's the great currency, isn't it? Of our, I think, of you say to someone, I don't know, watch this movie, and then they click on it, and it's like 2.5 hour exploration of the human soul, and they're like, well, maybe it's not for me on a Tuesday evening. But you can send them a 4 minute song, and if they don't listen to that 4 minute song, there is something up with them, right? Because it's just something that we have around us all the time, right? Music, I think, I'm in the car, I've got music on. I'm at home, I'm making the tea, I've got some music on. I'm going out for a walk trying to clear my head. I've probably got my headphones in and I'm listening to music. And I think that without knowing it, we do write a little tapestry of our lives with the songs that we're drawn to, I think, don't we? And yeah, so I'm all on board with you, Loz. Thanks for asking me to come on to this. What is it? What do you call it? A podcast? A vlog? What are we doing right now?
I think it's called. I would call it a video series, maybe.
That's why you're doing it and not me, because that sounds proper,
but
proper
it but
good.
it but it's basically like a it's like a video podcast as well, guys. So it's
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
whichever one you decide, that's fine. But
Yeah, I'm
but it would.
happy with any of them. Okay. Mhm.
So yeah, part of the idea for this was I wanted people to share stuff with
Mm.
me, and not just stuff, because I mean, we listen to a lot of things and we watch a lot of things, and not all of it is, uh, maybe not all of it is worthy to share, right?
Hmm.
But when I share something, for example, it's because either it has a lot of meaning to me, or maybe I think it might share a meaning with the person I'm sending it to. You know,
Hmm.
there might be a something there that makes me think, oh, they might enjoy this piece of music. Um, so yeah, discovering music is probably one of the greatest feelings of you know for the human experience. Just find something that makes your skin crawl, and or your chicken, I don't know how you call it, chicken skin.
Goosebumps.
Goosebumps, that's the word. We call
Mhm.
it the piel de pollo.
Oh, okay.
so it gives you that feeling, um of wow, this is something new. So this is something that touched me in some way.
Yeah, I think there's something magical about finding something that's new to you, right? And I think the older I get, the keener I am to remain open and flexible to different things that come across me. I certainly don't want to be one of those grumpy old men shouting at clouds that
Yeah,
things aren't as good as they used to be, when there's loads of there's art being created everywhere all the time. And I think certainly with the way the world is at the minute, we can often find ourselves in an echo chamber, right? and
yeah,
and algorithms will keep giving us the same thing over and over again. Oh, you like this? Here it is again. I know, but I just listened to it. What
yeah.
else should I be listening to? And I do feel like a lot of the forced, oh, this was made for you type things, I think, well, yeah, I don't know, you've not really got it right there, or it's exactly the same thing that you gave me last time. So I do try and discover the new stuff. I listen to the radio station over here, BBC Six Music, which tries to sort of give different styles, different types of music from different corners of the world and stuff. And they have a show, it's like a new music fix. And that's just like, even that, just listening to that, once every few weeks. And I'm like, that's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you very much. I discovered even just like, I put a song on recently. It was called Mirror Test. The band is Pigeon. That is a big recommendation for you. I put
Pigeon.
it on. The band's called Pigeon. The song is called Mirror Test. I put it on and I was in the room with my two daughters. One is 12, one is 5. The 5-year old stopped what she was doing. She turned around to me and she started doing this. And then the next words out of her mouth were, dance off. Are you just like, that is it. We
That's
have
a
cracked
moment.
it. Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, I would never have found that. I would never have found that song if I wasn't trying to remain open. So I'm all for this, Loz. I'm all up for sharing stuff.
So yeah, if you haven't done it yet, I mean, I think it's they're pretty big, but I've found a lot of new stuff with the Tiny Desk concerts.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And there's another channel on YouTube that for anybody else listening that wants to find new music as well, KEXP. I think it's a Seattle station, and they do like live shows. And,
yeah,
and I've listened to a lot of great bands
yeah.
through
And
those channels.
you can get a KEXP app as well. Even in this country, you can listen to, we can listen to their music and
Nice.
their radio stations as well. So I'm in the UK because a friend of mine in Boston, that was his radio station, and he said, you would like the music on here. You would like it. And it is great. They do a lot of good stuff.
Nice. So obviously we're here for Anatomy of a Favorite. This is episode 7 of season 1. And the first question I always ask is, when I asked you, Dirk, give me your favorite song. It's not a light question. We
No.
know that. I know that.
Mhm.
So what was it what did you think, especially in that moment? What made you decide on this specific song?
Well, I took a step back and I looked at the bigger picture because the show is anatomy of a favorite, not
Yeah,
anatomy of the favorite. So I thought, okay, I don't need to get too precious right
nice.
now. What I need to do is just think of something that maybe would be something new for you, Loz. But definitely something that in my heart of hearts is a total banger and I love, and something that I would probably keep with me to my grave. One of those songs that I could always put on and just be like, yeah, we're listening to this. This song's staying on. This is what we're gonna have. And this band in particular, I think probably the best working band in Britain at the minute. Maybe the best working band in the world. I use working band so as people don't go, well, what about the Beatles?
No.
And all that sort of stuff. But I mean, I'm a big yeah is probably my favorite band ever. But I'm gonna say they're not working right now. Okay, Karen O is churning out some stuff. Thank you, Karen. But probably this band is. I feel like I've never been let down by them, and I can explain more as we go on.
Yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
So tell us what was the song you picked?
I picked "Don't Delete the Kisses" by Wolf Alice, and I said to you, Loz, have you ever heard of Wolf Alice? And I think you said no, right?
Nope. Never even never I've never even heard the name in passing, which is
Hmm.
weird because even though there's a lot of music out there, obviously, most of the music, you most of the more known bands you've heard at least the name.
They
Uh,
walk across your path, right? Don't they? Even if you don't catch them, you've seen something somewhere.
yeah, and if you live on the internet, you
Yeah.
might have heard like a snippet of a song, or somebody put it on in their story or in their post
Hmm.
or something like that. But I never even I might have, but never even knew that they were them.
Hmm.
Don't remember listening to this band at all.
Hmm. Already we're winning. Already, I feel like we have done what we came to do. We could probably pack up now and have a nice cup of tea. Um, but I think I am an early adopter of Wolf Alice. So I heard them on the radio probably around about 2013, 2014 with one of their first singles. Before they'd released an album, they were just kind of they'd done doing EPs, I think. And it was a song called Moaning Lisa's Smile, which I think
Mhm.
is probably the best song ever written about a Simpsons character that there ever was. And you're just like, are they singing about Lisa Simpson? They are, and it's incredible.
The name of the
I mean,
song, I saw it. I read it
yeah,
when I was looking at the info. I was like, oh, that's hilarious. Just the name was
yeah,
hilarious.
yeah. And there's a stuff that I'm always attracted to when I hear music because I think I am trying to be open, like we said, but there are definitely bits of me that cannot help and being drawn to uh, lead female vocalist. That I just that gets me with a sort of like dirty guitar sounds and not necessarily overproduced and just feels there's a bit of something that's raw there. And I think even in that song Moaning Lisa's Smile, which is quite heavy, certainly heavier than the song we're going to talk about in a minute, they move between that and being slightly dreamy, slightly, and they have this ability, Wolf Alice, I think, to flip between genres, even within songs, never mind on albums, but certainly even within songs, they can do that. And I think they write magnificent songs. So I was on board from the beginning. I heard that and like, this is a band I'm very interested in. And then I was lucky enough to see them live, probably only about six, 8, 10 months after that in a very small venue in Liverpool. And they were incredible, really incredible. Maybe, I don't know, a small number of people, 50 people perhaps at that, because like I said, hadn't even released an album then. And I was like, yeah, I am with you now. I am with you until you prove me wrong. And they have never proved me wrong. 4 albums later, I'm still here.
It's kind of great when you can go to those shows and then you see them playing for 20 people
Yeah.
at a grimy bar
Yeah.
somewhere, and then suddenly you hear that they're writing hits It's
Well, I mean, I just saw them now, 50,000 people in
nice.
at an outdoor venue in London. So I mean, it's just like at both ends of the spectrum, and they perform to both of those crowds incredibly well. Yeah. So I'm glad you've heard Wolf Alice now.
Yeah, no, what I'll tell you what I did. I listened to the song,
Okay.
of course,
Yeah.
um, and I was definitely interested. I was like, "What is this?"
Hmm.
So I decided to play the album, of course.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I wanted to see, how these songs, you know,
Fits.
I mean, I'm a fan of albums.
Yeah.
Uh, so the art of creating a curated set list
Hmm.
like track list to me is very important. So when something is done, like, oh, I'll just throw all the songs in there with no thought into them, or when there's a flow, there's a story being told, there's
Hmm.
so at least for me, I like seeing if they're musically, if they want that, if they're looking for that. Not everybody has to do it. I mean, you know that's just my
Sure.
one of the things I like. um
Yeah.
but so I decided to listen to the album, and I was blown away by it because because it was definitely not what I expected.
No.
I especially when I got to the song Yuck Fu,
Yeah.
and I was like, how is this the same band?
Oh, I
uh,
know.
yeah, it was like, what is this? It's like punk. It's like
Hmm.
um, it's hard. It's definitely more aggressive.
Yeah.
And then
It's
this
yeah.
song, it's like a theory, like the song you picked, don't delete the kiss, is very ethereal, very
Hmm.
dreamy, more shoegazy. It was definitely a switch in style, and throughout the whole album, I was surprised by the
Mm,
range the band has, in terms of what you said already, the changing genres.
yeah.
Um,
And Yuk Fu was the first single they released off that second album, right? So
yeah,
they dropped that, and you're like, and the first album was quite heavy as well. You're like, oh, this is what the second album is going to be like. Oh my goodness, this is even, yeah, like you said, punkier
yeah,
almost. And then I think Don't Delete the Kisses came out next, and you're like, hang on a minute, what are you doing? And I think the part of the reason why Don't Delete Your Kisses makes such an impression on me is, wow, what are you doing? Like this is such it felt like they were they had such a specific story to tell with this song, and that they were just kind of in its earnest nature and simplicity incredibly honest, and just one of the things I really love is the lack of pretense, and it's just like, no, this is just how people feel, right?
yeah,
And let's just be honest, let's just get these words out, get them out, and we're just going to do them, and we're just going to well, as the lyrics of the song, act like a teenage girl, and just to have the that song adjacent to something like Yuk Fu, I was just like shaken to my musical core. And I think I said that, like, I've been with Wolf Alice for all their albums because each album does that thing where it sounds different to any other album they've done, but equally sounds like Wolf Alice have made this album. And I don't know how they do that. And it's such a rare thing, I think. Like yeahs have done it. Each album sounds like a yeahs album, but they'd sound different. And Wolf Alice, I mean, the latest one that came out, I couldn't even describe to you. There's like a couple of big dirty songs on there, but then they've got like 60s pop songs and stuff like that. And it's clear that they're interested in just making great music that appeals to them, but also pushing themselves to do different things. And they just work. They just work. What you were saying about this song, absolutely. So it's ethereal is definitely one of the words I would use. It's got a one of the things that always gets me is the sort of the rhythm of the lyrics. So
Mm,
it's got
yes.
it's Ellie, the lead singer, and she's in the verses at least, it's almost like spoken word, and she's just kind of describing a situation where you can sort of imagine her in a bedroom or sort of like lying on a bed, just thinking about the events of the day, or looking in the mirror, trying to give herself a bit of a pep talk, or as she says, sort of writing things in her diary. And it's about kind of lamenting over a love, and it's just the way that it goes. Um, I'd like to get to know you. I'd like to take you out. We'll go to the Hail Mary and afterwards make out. And it's just got this beautiful sort of undulating flow to it that you just can't help, even though it's kind of like mostly spoken in
Mm,
that moment, is still melody sort of in there. And it's not a kind of like an aggressive sort of say rap, for example. It's more, it's just, you can just imagine she's just relaxed and she's just trying to talk to herself and figure things out in her own head. And I think they do an incredible job of putting you into her environment, and into her head. I don't know. What do you think?
when I listen to this song, I think it happened as well with Marcy. I don't know if you've heard the song that Marcy
Yeah,
picked.
yeah,
We when I had Marcy, we talked about how that song felt almost like a soundtrack, like part of a
mm-hmm,
soundtrack of a movie. It was more like about the tone and about the atmosphere, and it was a simple lyrics, but it was telling a story.
mm-hmm.
And I think this song, in a way, is not soundtrack in that way, but this is, I almost could see the movie. I saw the movie
Yeah,
in my head
mm-hmm.
when I read the lyrics, because it was a little bit harder to the first
Sure.
time. It was a
Yeah,
little
yeah,
hard to understand what she was saying, because the she was saying it in that spoken word where it was like faster and then slower and then faster.
mm-hmm.
But then
Because
when
she,
she
it's like
breathes,
it's like she gets excited at different
exactly,
moments,
yeah, no, I
and it's
mean,
like, and then she calms herself back down again. I
yes,
totally get what you mean.
the songwriting, I think it's a masterful song because
Mm-hmm.
it is able to do, it's 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 telling a story, but it's also it uses conventions of other mediums to, she knows that when she's doing, when she's telling you what she's telling, what the lyrics say, there's definitely, I don't know if she wrote it or the band wrote it or
Yeah.
how they did that, but whoever wrote it, um they know that there's everybody has gone through that experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, at least anybody who's dated in the last, you know, 20 years maybe,
Mm-hmm.
has had that whole, oh my God, should I send,
Should I? Yeah.
the kissy emoji? Is it too early to send the kissy emoji? Do I want to scare? Am I gonna
Yeah.
scare them off?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The besides the fact that it's one of those experiences that is like common,
You, mm-hmm.
you can relate. The way she does the singing relates to how the emotions she's having throughout the whole story,
Mm-hmm.
and that is what I think is pretty cool. And
Yeah.
not a lot of bands do that. It reminds me, and I know it might seem weird, but it reminds me of Master of Puppets by Metallica,
Mm-hmm.
where the song is structured in a way where you get the high, you get the person who needs the drug, and then the person takes the drug, and then you get the high, and then the drop.
Yeah.
So the song structure works to tell the story, which is
Yeah.
pretty incredible.
Yeah. And I think one of the things I sort of get more and more from it is the crescendo towards the end. And you can hear it, you can hear in her voice. She's kind of having more and more of a conversation with herself, and she talks herself into it in the end.
Yep.
This is something that I'm going to do. And I think the song structure and composition is immaculate, and just how even probably if we didn't have as on the nose lyrics as we get sometimes, you would get what was going on. You
Yep.
would know exactly just from the swell, the way the music just comes together at the end. Like that kind of heart is beating a little bit faster. There's a bit more confidence in her voice. She's speaking just that little bit faster towards the end, with more conviction. And it just is like you've had a character arc from the start to the end, which you don't. It's not like you don't always get that, I suppose, in a song, do you? But
Yep.
you have this person, making a decision. They're making a decision in this, and I think the way that they structure, yeah, the not just the lyrics, not just the cadence of Ellie's voice, but just also how the instruments move through that is impeccable.
It was fascinating because I read that the song wasn't supposed to have the happy ending. The song
Mm.
originally was supposed to be, it was supposed to end with what was the phrase? The what if love is not meant for me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And then she was I apparently I think she wrote the song. She was like, no, I think this needs like the movie ending,
yeah, yeah,
the let's
yeah.
finish
Happy
it
ending.
with a happy ending, which not really. You don't know. You just know that it's happy because it's hopeful. It's
Yeah.
you choose hope. She
Yes.
chose hope at that moment.
Yes. Absolutely. Because we don't really know the end. The end is just she has made a decision that
Yep.
she is going to tell this person. That is it. But yeah, the chorus, which is more of a sort of loud, supporters on the terrace type chanting, and by the way, Loz, works incredibly well at a gig. As you can imagine,
Yeah.
everybody just chanting in unison. It starts off, what if it's not meant for me, love? And it's like that simple thing. And then at the end, she says, you and me are meant to be,
Yeah.
love. And so it's that kind of, again, the character arc. I think they do that really well with a few of their songs. Like the sort of not hidden emotion, it's there, but like so you can listen to something a few times and all of a sudden just hear it in a slightly different context, feeling it a slightly different way, and I've got tears coming down my face. They were the first band I saw live after the pandemic,
No.
and um, we were all a bit kind of cautious, not sure. We're all very close together in this
Yeah. Yeah.
in this music venue, still trying to trying to convince ourselves that we're all okay to be here. And they have a song that I'd listened to. It was, I think, on their third album, which is how do I make it okay? And I liked it. It was a good song, but it wasn't one of my favorites. But then all of a sudden they start singing this at that moment after the
Mm.
pandemic, when everybody is just um together again, and they're belting out the lyrics, how do I make it okay? And I'm just crying. I'm just like, oh my God, how do we make it okay at this point? What do we need to do? Probably more things like this. Get us all back together. Start, experiencing human connection again, which we were all so deprived of, for a couple of years. And so yeah, that I love how they can communicate emotions so earnestly, yeah, like I said, without pretense, honest, in an honest fashion, but also with just an actual bop of a song as well.
Yep.
Mhm.
So yeah, I was like I said, I'm pleasantly surprised by the song and by the band, by
Mhm.
this whole album. I really enjoyed this whole album. I actually have like a song that really stuck with me on the album. Eh, Let me remind myself the title, Planet Hunter. The
Yes.
song that came right after this one.
Hmm.
That song, I was like, oh, wow, this is like, it's because, like I said, this band knows how to, switch styles and all of that, and the songs are different, very different,
Very
but
different. Yeah.
there's still, you can, like you said, you can still tell that they're the same band and they're
Yeah.
the same group,
Hmm.
and that this, like, the same soul flows through it.
Hmm. I would say like "Don't Delete the Kisses" is if you like, it's a very personal, narrow song describing, maybe 3 or 4 minutes of somebody's life, whereas a song like Planet Hunter is this epic expanse of a thing. And
Yeah.
it's just, I mean, and I picked "Don't Delete the Kisses" because it's so interesting in kind of structure and melody and things like that. But I could have picked, oh god, I could have picked Planet Hunter. I could have picked any Wolf Alice song. And to be honest, I there's one on the first album called Giant Peach, which I'm sure you would like, probably, because it's the one they often kind of finish their sort of sets with, and it's the ones there where they're playing it and they will just, break the
Mhm.
strings on their guitar, go straight through the drums. And there was the Glastonbury, so the Glastonbury Music Festival over here, the one that happened sort of in the pandemic. They did this thing where they did get a few acts and they just filmed them
Yeah.
individually and just put it on the BBC. And that was the song they finished that set with and just destroyed everything. And he's like, yes, please.
On
Get, everybody needs catharsis right now. So yes,
now I
let's
want to
just go.
listen to the live version, because that's one of the things I didn't do, which I usually try to do. I try to listen to a live version because
Hmm.
you know a studio version and a live version can be very different
Yeah.
um, things. I always go to. I did an episode with a friend of mine, Eggy, who's a singer, and he picked Black by Pearl Jam,
Oh yeah. Hmm.
and the difference between the studio version and the unplugged version.
Mm.
I don't know if you've listened to that unplugged
No.
version. Like, oh, you should, if you've heard, have you heard Black by Pearl Jam before? Is
Hmm.
that, but go listen to the unplugged version. I think it's just so raw and emotional
Mm. Yeah,
that
yeah.
even though the song originally is very emotional, this like
Mhm.
takes it to 11.
I think what I really like is when the vocals aren't entirely clean. And I
Yeah,
know, like, some people say things like, "Oh, they're amazing live. It sounds just like the album." I'm like, well, that's a skill. Don't get me
yeah,
wrong.
yeah,
That is a skill. And Dolly Parton, God bless her, she's got that skill. But I just like it when voices are cracking a little bit, and you can tell that they're just slightly out of breath, or they're feeling something going on in that moment, which is unique
yeah.
to them when they record it. Yeah, I've seen Wolf Alice live 3 times, I think now. Each has been in a different setting with a different audience, a different time of my life. But they always make such an emotional connection with me. They're an incredible band. The drummer is phenomenal. And he does get he's I think he provides vocals on a couple of songs, and there's one on the current album called White Horses, which is a bit like this song in terms of the rhythm of the lyrics. It's like ba 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 ba, ba. And it's just part of the joy of it is just the cadence of it all.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's lots of stuff on the YouTube, I'm sure, of live performances. I think they think they have done like the Tiny Desk concert. I think they have done that. I mean, over here in the UK, they're a decent sized band. They are. I mean, like I said, they had 50,000 people turn up to see them, at a gig recently. uh, I always wonder about like, are they big enough to headline Glastonbury? Because that's often the thing over here. Who's going to headline Glastonbury? I don't know is the answer to that, but I
Uh-huh.
think they would give it a good go.
I mean, if you say that they go crazy and at
Hmm.
the live shows, then I mean that helps a lot,
Yeah, and
Glad.
then the song before that, it'll just be a beautiful piano based ballad,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh my goodness, my heart right now.
Yes, sometimes it's not. I mean, you're from the UK, so basically a bigger island.
Yes, we are an island, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So, but
Mm.
sometimes it's hard to know how big a band is outside of well, of your country.
Yeah.
Same happens here in PR because we might see somebody like a band that we think is pretty well known, and then nobody knows them.
Nobody does.
But then there's
Yeah.
somebody who you think maybe aren't that well known, and then you hear people from all over Central America and South America, and they're like, "Oh my God, that's the greatest." I'm like, "Wait, Cultura
Yeah.
Profética, or you have some
Yeah.
groups from PR." Obviously, we have the big one, the Bad Bunnies and the Ricky Martins of the world, but
Hmm.
for those smaller groups, it's hard to tell where they're how much reach they have.
Mm, absolutely. I mean, I'm always sort of saying to Marcy, "Have you heard of this band?" And I think she gets so insulted because Marcy prides herself on, her uh, knowledge, not just of movies, but also of music. She was, she had her own radio station. She's very well informed about music, and even just recently, she was reminding me of a time I asked her, did she know who the band Franz Ferdinand was? Well, I don't know if you know who the band Franz Ferdinand was, but boy, did she not take kindly to being asked that question? You think I don't know who Franz Ferdinand is? No.
I know I'll remember that not to ask. I just go like, oh, this song I liked it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mhm.
uh, so basically, I think I didn't really have to ask any questions because I think we went through all the things that I wanted to go through with the song. And I think ultimately this is definitely one of those bands I'm adding to my playlist. Like I'm
Yes,
definitely
lots.
adding songs from this band to my playlist. This is like a really good band that I want to get to know more. It reminded me a little bit, and maybe not in style, but in the way that it it's sort of like it it blends genres, and there's a band from Belgium. I think it's Belgium. They're called Brutus,
Okay.
and they have a female vocalist. It's a, a trio, a female vocalist, and she does the vocals and the drums.
Oh, nice.
And they're sort of post, you know, one of those post, post, sort of post something,
Hmm.
shoegaze, sort of like punk
Yeah.
as well, but
Hmm.
they're a little bit more, I guess, hard, like more heavier,
Yeah.
I would say, than this band. But it reminded me of that, the whole, how the songs are, and how they change the style. And I'll send you a couple of their
Yeah.
songs.
I'm interested in that very much. What I would say is, yeah, Wolf Allen's first album is heavier a little bit. So like you might definitely Giant Peach. I think you would really like, and some of their EPs. But there usually is at least two or three songs on every album, which is just filth.
Yeah,
Heavy goodness. Because I like my shoegaze, and I love my dreamy pop. But I also like it interspersed with filth.
Yep.
absolute just raucous energy. And that is what I just know I'm going to get from every single album from Wolf. I'll get everything that I want. And I picked, probably, I cheated a little bit and gave you what I thought was um, a good first dose of Wolf Alice, that you could kind of see what they're about. But I think that if you go exploring into their back catalog, yeah, you'll find lots of little nooks and crannies that you'll enjoy just as much. But I think this is their most listened to song on the streaming services.
Okay.
I understand. I only just found this out recently. It was in a popular Netflix TV show at the end of an episode, and I think probably got boosted up a little bit because of that. But
Oh, so
it
maybe I
gives,
have listened to it.
maybe, I don't know. And yeah, definitely people, famous cool people like Edgar Wright are big fans and stuff. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
think they're I would not fail to recommend Wolf Alice to anyone, and Don't Delete the Kisses is an absolute banger.
That's pretty awesome. Thank you for sharing that song and that band with me, because I'm definitely gonna go on that on that rabbit hole to listen to more of their music. And definitely recommend it to some people I know. Um, Thank you again for taking the time. I know it's late over there in the UK, so taking the time to record with me and sharing the music that you like. Um, and for for this channel, I recorded some episodes, some reviews, but then I like I told you, I hated how they sounded, so I'm re-recording them. Like
Oh, okay.
there's a couple of reviews of new movies like Obsession. I saw Disclosure Day. So a couple of the movies that are in theaters. So that's oh, I saw The Odyssey, of course, and so I'm gonna be talking about those in those reviews. Do you have any idea what the movie mixtape is coming with next, or?
Yeah, so we've got two episodes we've recorded that we just need to edit and get out. So we inspired by the World Cup, which I know we were both watching, Loz. I
Yes.
don't know, we can take this off there in a little second. But we're doing World Mix, and so
Ooh,
we've two films into World Mix, and that means different things to different people. So they
yes.
should be coming out fairly soon. Marcy had the first pick. She picked Monsters University. She may have mentioned that when she was on with you. I'm not
Yeah.
sure. And then yeah, we just recorded my pick, which was Life of Chuck, which is
Oh,
the
yeah.
recent movie as well. So they're the first two that are going to be out, and then we're recording again in a couple of weekends' time. So we just life is busy, so we're just trying to work out how we're going to release these episodes. Whether what we might just do like a mixtape release of all episodes for a mixtape, or like what we used to do, stagger them out. But yeah, we're the joy of the mixtape is like this. It's sharing things we love with other people and finding out a little bit about each other by doing that. Which I think is human connection is the most probably important thing to me. Like in terms of like what makes us, why are we here? Yeah, that's what it is. It's how we interact with people and what we can do together as communities. So I'm all in on that. What I would say is, Loz, we are both Dungeon Crawler Carl readers,
Oh
right?
my God, yes.
Mm.
Uh, I read the first book in like I read it on ebook, and then the last two books I read, which I'm still on book four right now.
Hmm.
I heard the audiobooks,
Hmm.
and they are amazing. The guy who makes the I forgot his name. I've done a couple of the reviews
Yeah,
for
seen.
thus
Hmm.
far. So I saw the news recently that he was cast as Princess Donut for
Princess
the TV
Donut.
show,
Hmm.
which is like you had to. So I'm very happy with that.
Hmm. Good. Well, and thanks so much for having me on, Loz. I mean, we sort of alluded to it before we came on, but we seem to have known each other for a good number of years, and talked virtually. But this is the first time probably having a chat face to
Yes.
face. And thanks. It's a great honor to come on your show and for you to ask me on. And it's a great show. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. Uh, so I'll put all the info of the movie mixtape on the description, and that's about it. Class dismissed.